I was pretty reluctant to participate in this, and when Jim called me to see if I would participate in this campaign, I asked him, what would that mean? And he said to me, well, your face would be plastered on the side of a bus. And I replied, well, it wouldn't be the first time I've been plastered on a bus. So I agreed. My story is just one of many. For over 10 years, I've struggled with drug addiction. Active addiction brought my actions to include lying, stealing, manipulating. My behavior became increasingly risky. I began engaging in criminal activity and focused all my efforts on getting my next fix. It left me homeless, hopeless, and my life became a revolving door in and out of jails and treatment centers. In June of 2013, it left me dead. I overdosed on opiates, but my life was saved by Narcan. I was brought to the hospital, and as I regained consciousness, my first instinctive thought was to leave the hospital and continue to use drugs. My second thought didn't develop too long because I had a few friends visit me, recovery friends that loved me more than I loved myself. They wanted nothing from me but to see me succeed. People that have been where I was at, that empowered me to make healthy choices and motivated me to re-engage in recovery. Since that day 19 months ago, I have not used drugs or alcohol. Today, I'm able to sustain my personal recovery with 12-step programs while utilizing peer support. And in fact, I've been able to live a pretty productive life. I work 2 jobs. I've become a licensed HIV and hepatitis C test counselor. I've begun to pay off the debt accrued during my active addiction. I started to rebuild a relationship with my mother and family the drugs have taken away from me. Also, I serve on Department of Health's Overdose Prevention Coalition, and most recently began volunteering for Miriam Hospital's PONY program, which stands for Preventing Overdose and Naloxone Intervention. In 2004, I lost my father. In 2009, I lost my brother, both from this disease. In 2014, we lost 232 people to overdoses, and it impacts an incalculable amount of lives. This past Wednesday, I attended a funeral of my friend Max. He was 22 years old and died of an overdose on January 3rd of this year. So 2015, this disease has already begun to take lives from us. But I believe that we can minimize overdose deaths. I believe we can reconnect families, and I believe we can increase access to recovery, bettering the community as a whole. I'm excited to be a part of this campaign, but I must share something with you. At the end of the day, this media campaign is just that. It's a media campaign. Billboards, TV airtime, thick pieces of paper, and a lot of ink. None of this matters if we aren't practicing the principles of love, compassion, understanding, and empathy in our relationships with others. So I ask everyone in this room, are you willing to love someone that doesn't love themselves?
Yes.
Are you willing to get educated about the signs of substance abuse?
Yes.
If you could potentially encounter an overdose, are you willing to learn about Narcan?
Yes.
Are you willing to familiarize yourself with recovery resources?
Yes.
Are you willing to make yourself available when someone asks for help?
Yes.
And let us not forget that reoccurrence of substance abuse can happen at any time to someone in recovery. Having said that, I ask you, are you willing to understand that some people in this world identify as people in long-term recovery and cannot ever have just one drink or drug? Are you willing to accept the fact that recovery doesn't just happen, but rather it's a process of ups and downs? Are you willing to approach those individuals in long-term recovery every once in a while and say, hey, I love you and I'm proud of you? Because I'll tell you, fighting this disease is a really tough thing, and a little encouragement goes a long way. If you've answered yes to these questions, I'm confident that we will trend in the right direction. There is no ultimate big solution here. It's got to start with us, with our own home and families, with every interaction we have in our lives, with every human being we encounter. The launching of this campaign will show that not only is recovery possible, but recovery is a reality. But it's up to us as individuals to make it a success. By loving one another, we reduce stigma. By continuously being supportive, we raise our awareness. And by acting hopeful, we offer a chance and ultimately save lives. And those lives can go on to save more lives. So, where there is breath, there is hope. Hope that any individual can find recovery and become a responsible, productive, and contributing member of society. And I stand here before you today as an example of that. Thank you.